Saw dudes, the exotic mission Starcross dropped a couple of days ago and I finally got Wishkeeper, the newest exotic bow. It is a dream to shoot and is perfect for anyone who enjoys using Strand or using a bow in general. I wanted to get back to making videos as soon as possible, so today's build will be brief. This build utilizes a bait and leap to keep nearly all combatants in a constant state of suspension. This will make high-end activities a cakewalk and allow you and your teammates to focus on taking down targets without retaliation. Let's get started. Let's go over the game loop first. Start combat by casting your barricade to send out Strand lashes. They will suspend enemies that are hit and grant woven mail thanks to a bait and leap. Use Wishkeeper to kill suspended enemies first and to build up Snare Weaver stacks. On full stacks, hit fire to release a Snare Weaver trap and kill enemies affected by it. This loop will refund barricade energy and keep you safe. Collect orbs for additional damage and health regeneration. Rinse and repeat. Blade Fury is pretty good for melting champions and locking down high priority targets. Since this build is primarily played from the backline, it makes for a great emergency button. Rally Barricade is the only option we have for today. First of all, it has a lower cooldown, meaning we can spam it more often. Secondly, it grants us a large reload speed bonus, which is crucial for increasing bow DPS. Wishkeeper benefits a ton from Rally Barricade and will feel much better with it. Frenzy Blade won't be used much, but does decent damage and can sever tougher enemies to reduce their outgoing damage. The Grenade is up to preference. Grapple gives us another movement and melee damage option and unravels targets hit. Shackle Grenade suspends enemies, but since we already have two ways of doing so, I find it unnecessary. This build uses the Banner of War and Drinker's Lash aspects. Banner of War is activated when we kill an enemy with a sword, glaive, finisher, or melee attack. The banner sends out healing pulses periodically, with the frequency increasing with the number of kills achieved after activation. We're using this aspect since the damage from Frenzy Blade and Grapple melees is still reliable for its activation. Drinker's Lash causes Barricade Cast to send out a Strand Lash that tracks enemies and suspends them on hit. This is buffed by a bait and leap, causing it to send out 3 lashes that track more aggressively. This build uses Thread of Generation, Mind, Rebirth, and Wisdom. Generation grants Grenade ability energy for each damage instance. Mind causes killing enemies affected by suspension to grant Barricade energy based on rank. Rebirth causes Strand weapon kills to progress a counter that spawns a Threadling upon reaching 100%. Finally, Thread of Wisdom causes kills on suspended enemies to create an Orb of Power with a 10-second cooldown between activations. Let's cover the chonky armor. First off, the helmet had Harmonic Siphon, Special Ammo Finder, and Font of Wisdom. Special Ammo Finder can be swapped for Heavy Ammo Finder if you want. On the gauntlets, there was Font of Focus, Heavy Handed, and Focusing Strike. For the chestplate, I equipped Concussive Dampener and 2 Variable Resistance mods. A Bait and Leap had Recuperation and 2 copies of Strand Weapon Surge. Lastly, the Mark had Time Dilation, Reaper, and Distribution. The only 2 stats you need to worry about for the build are Resilience and Discipline. Resilience will increase our damage resistance, but more importantly, reduce the cooldown of our Rally Barricade. Discipline will lower our Grenade cooldown, which is great whether you use Grapple or Shackle Grenade. Any leftover points can be dumped into Intellect and Strength. If the video has helped you out at all, please consider subbing. It'll help me out a ton. There's only one weapon loadout for today since Wishkeeper is such an integral piece for the build. As the weapon gets upgrades in the coming weeks, other builds will integrate more options. Weapon loadout 1 uses Wishkeeper, Path of Least Resistance, and Cataphract GL3. Wishkeeper is the newest exotic bow and it does not disappoint in the slightest. It's craftable, just like Revision Zero and Vexcalibur. Precision hits and kills charge up Snare Weaver arrows. Snare Weaver requires 6 charges to be activated, and hip firing at the maximum of 6 stacks shoots a Snare Weaver arrow, which creates a trap that can suspend up to 6 enemies. The bow deals 50% increased damage against suspended enemies, and suspending enemies or damaging one grants 100 reload speed and a 0.7 draw time multiplier for a short period. The whole ability kit works extremely well with this bow. It can buff its own damage without the need for kills and has great utility. When Snare Weaver arrows are used in combination with Drinker's Lash, you can easily lock down an entire room indefinitely. Path of Least Resistance is only used as a utility weapon. I'm still using the same Shoot to Loot and Volchant roll, which complements the long-range playstyle of the build. Shoot to Loot allows us to pick up orbs and ammo from a distance, which is important for ensuring we have Strand Surge uptime. Volchant can stun overload champions, which is fairly important in endgame activities. However, I find that it's more useful in ad clear and makes killing trash ads a little bit easier. Cataphract GL3 is probably the only Strand heavy weapon that I can wholeheartedly recommend with this build. The roll that I currently use is Quick Launch, Spike Grenades, Field Prep, and Bait and Switch. Spike Grenades increases the impact damage of grenades on a direct hit. Field Prep increases the total reserves and reload speed when crouched. The reload speed is a bit redundant since we have Rally Barricade, so if you want to use Envious Assassin, go ahead. Bait and Switch grants a 35% damage buff for 10 seconds upon dealing damage with all of your weapons within 7 seconds of each. Cataphract GL3 benefits a lot from our kit and our mod setup. Suspending champions prevents them from moving and allows us to send a full salvo of grenades their way with no hassle. The double surges we have on a bait and leap increases damage by 17%, which stacks with BNS for a 58% total damage increase. In a pinch, this gun can serve as ad clear, which is a nice bonus. I hope that this weapon focused build works for you guys. I am really enjoying this new bow. And as usual, I will be coming out with builds for hunters and warlocks that use it. I can't wait to get the upgrades as the exotic mission progresses. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, thank you all for watching, and happy farming.